What does it mean to be Black? Good day to all of you. My name is Tamia Jacobs, and I am a senior communications major at the Alabama State University, concentrating in radio and television. As a radio television major, I wanted to utilize a platform outside of the traditional media structure by thinking outside of the box and engaging with all generations, genders, and social classes in a fresh new way. I find podcasts to be extremely engaging and easily accessible on platforms like YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, and so much more. Even more so, what's a better way to stay connected globally other than a social network? So, I present to you The Last Drop, a podcast with the purpose to entertain as well as educate. Now, I know you're probably thinking, why The Last Drop? I named my network The Last Drop because a friend suggested that I name it Tea with Tamia, playing off of the modern day colloquialisms and connotations of social media being used to access timely news that's pertinent to pop culture. But when I thought about what I wanted this platform to represent, I didn't want to choose anything that portrayed Black people as a monolith, as a culture of people that only used ebonics and engaged in drama for societal gaze. No, I want this network to focus on social commentary of pop culture and issues that affect the African diaspora overall. Topics like Black femicide and misogynoir are so important, yet they're hardly talked about on a national scale. And what about immigration and ethnic differences that influence, divide, and define different types of African descendants around the world? Yet and still, we're all connected by one thing: we're all Black. But we still haven't answered the question, right? What does it mean to be Black? And we're gonna come back to that, but I wanted to provide a space for a whole conversation to be had by individuals who actually have lived experience with these issues. That's where I come in. I can add value to this business because I'm a Black woman. I'm a daughter of immigrants and of West Indian descent. Now that brings about its own conversation surrounding the dichotomy between Black culture globally and African American culture, as well as the stigmas that are associated with these communities. I'm going to touch on that a little bit more later, but now I have a background in several aspects of communications: news writing, anchoring, podcasting, and I'm confident in my ability to bring these skill sets that I've acquired over time and turn this into $1 million social network. Let's talk about some statistics. According to a Pew Research Center report, 77% of Black adults in the US say that they use at least one social media site as of 2021. Now, this is higher than the percentage of 69% of white users and the 80% of Hispanic adults that use social media. Now, with so much dedication to social media by Black users, shouldn't there be a social network where they're allowed to express themselves in the most authentic way about issues that are pertinent to us? Now, let's get back to the question at hand. What makes us Black? Is it based on ethnic backgrounds, visual cues, self-identity, similarities in culture? I mean, where do people of mixed race fit into the conversation? Are they allowed to identify as Black? Well, let's start here. The brown paper bag test. Now, the brown paper bag test was a form of discrimination used to exclude dark-skinned people by comparing their skin tone to the color of a brown paper bag. Those who were lighter than the bag were allowed into social events, clubs, and even sororities. Those whose skin failed that test were rejected. Let's talk about the one drop rule. This legal principle of racial classification was very prominent in the 20th century in the United States. It asserted that any person with even one Black ancestor or one drop of Black blood is considered Black. Although we might not use these terms today on a large scale, they are considered politically incorrect by modern standards, but there's no secret that colorism, discrimination, and even hair texturism still exist. This is evident in the nuanced conversations that we have on social media today. So we may not use these terms, but do we still abide by these rules mentally? The truth is, Blackness is not defined by any hair type, skin color, rap music, or even food. No, Blackness is multicultural and deserves more exploration. So who needs to have these conversations? Well, the target market for this podcast and social network would primarily be any individual from the African diaspora or those cultures interested in learning more about these issues and the conversations that involve these communities. Britannica defines the African diaspora as the global community of people with African roots scattered by history and choice. I'm of West Indian descent, which involves so many different cultures and races. Now, growing up, when I told people that, they asked questions like, "So you're not Black?" Caribbean Americans or West Indian Americans are individuals who trace their ancestry back to the Caribbean. We are a multi-ethnic and multiracial group that trace our ancestry farther in time, mostly to Africa, Asia, the indigenous peoples of the Americas, and even to Europe. My parents and most of my family were born in the South American country called Guyana. We are considered West Indians. And I never understood that questioning of my Blackness because I didn't realize that many people associate Blackness with the African American experience. These are just some of the conversations that I want to address and bring to the diaspora as a whole. There are even more nuanced conversations between African natives and African Americans. This network can relate to all age groups and offer a space for real and sometimes even uncomfortable conversation. Having live access to the podcast platform gives viewers the option to chime in on conversations in real time and in an unfiltered environment. Providing this commentary will create a space for people of all walks of life, genders, binaries, and backgrounds, and allow them to sit at a virtual round table and discuss. Now, how do we market this thing, right? Now, I'll shop this platform to already existing social networks with a large Black global following, such as the former Twitter application now known as X. Advertising on these established platforms will bring in traction. In addition to my background in news writing, I want to put together a monthly newsletter that will be sent out to everyone who views the ad on a social network and signs up to receive information. Attached in the newsletter will be a link to that weekly podcast. And of course, it's important to have investors, and that's where you guys come in. And I know you're thinking, well, how am I going to make money off of this? So let's talk numbers. In addition to the advertising revenue that we will gain from running ads on the network, direct subscribers and supporters of the platform can support the show through digital platforms such as Patreon. That's not including the revenue that we'll obtain from a platform like YouTube, which include ad formats that can be set up for monetization, once we build our audience, of course. At that point, we can include merchandise that can be sold and shipped from a third-party website. Now, Admittedly, there are competitors out there like the Black Equity podcast on Spotify for exploring the behind the scenes of wealth and providing a space for experts of financial education and social justice. And then there's the Black Myths podcast, which analyzes popular myths about the Black culture of socio-political nature. What sets my platform apart is a global inclusion, as apart from focus on the African American experience and the ability for users to actually add to the conversation in real time. So, what does it mean to be Black? There may never be a clear answer to this inquiry, but with the Last Drop social network and podcasts, we can perform a full racial exploration and come that much closer to a holistic view of Blackness as it transcends generations, cultural barriers, and international borders. Again, I want to thank you for your time and encourage you to invest mentally and monetarily in the Last Drop podcast and social network.